Good morning. I want to talk with you this morning about a very difficult subject. I call it technology, the scourge of technology. I define technology as the attempt to replace natural processes with mechanical processes. They may be chemical, they may be mechanical, they may simply be replacing a natural product with something that is not natural. My perception of this hobby is that there is an expansive effort on the part of those who seek to capitalize financially in this industry to create equipment that is wholly unnecessary to maintain healthy, happy fish, but that results in considerable income streams. I realize this is controversial, but I've been at this hobby for 60 years or more, probably closer to 70 years. And I remember how it was when we started and how it is now. And I believe it is not better today than it was 100 years ago. Fish live a very natural existence in bodies of water that remain in place for centuries, even millennia. Very little changes in their environment. They may live their entire lives in the same physical water in which they were born, live, breed, eat, and die to give way to a new generation. They may, on the other hand, receive continuous water changes if they are a riverine fish, or if they live in a very large body of water like an ocean or a lake. Most of the fish that we keep, at least the freshwater fish, are fish that come from, for the most part, relatively small bodies of water. Now that is not to exclude the Amazon River and the Rift Lakes of Africa. Certainly substantial bodies of water. Nevertheless, the conditions in which these fish live have a very high level of stability. And that stability occurs naturally. One of the basic principles that I adhere to in keeping fish is to create a natural environment where the fish are able to thrive without significant changes. I do this with soil, sand, and very hard water. Soil provides a media for material to break down and disintegrate, making it available to plants. It also purifies the water by breaking down toxins and waste products. Soil. I cap the soil with sand, in part to keep the soil in place so that it does not greatly disturb the water column. In nature, there are such places where sand or even gravel covers soil that acts as a natural filter for the body of water. The sand must remain largely undisturbed, as must the soil remain largely undisturbed. Disturbing it simply creates a mess, makes the water cloudy, releases undesirable gases into the water column, and generally breaks down the ability of the system to sustain itself. So, leaving it alone is basic to keeping it healthy. Setting up a freshwater tank, and the same is true of salt water. I'm just not talking about that right now. But setting up a freshwater tank is a very, very simple procedure. You start with dirt. Now, I add a number of elements to my soil, and I use a number of different kinds. But you can start with a common potting soil. Wet it, soak it thoroughly, pour it into the tank. Get a bag of dry silica sand, pour it on top of the soil, at least 2 inches deep. Add water. I use hard alkaline water. And the reason I do is because the carbonates in the water will maintain a stable pH. Oh, I know, acid water controls bacteria, but if you have a deep substrate, you're not going to have a bacterial bloom, unless, of course, you're dumping food in by the cupful with 2 zebras and 2 clownfish that you're trying to feed. So, water, hard alkaline water. Most deep well water is hard and alkaline, and it's frankly perfect. It can sit in the tank for months, if not years, and not change even a little bit. The substrate builds up and releases nutrients through the roots of the plants that are burrowing down into it. That aquarium will survive with a few fish and lots of plants for decades with little or no human intervention. So there you have it. Occasionally, I will use a sponge filter particularly early on in the process, just to ensure that any floating debris is picked up, that the water is moving naturally, and that oxygen is permeating the water adequately, and CO2 is leaving the water adequately. But again, those are natural processes that really don't require much in the way of human intervention. So there you have it. I have 200 aquariums sitting in my shop. Not all of them are planted. Only about 190 have deep substrate with soil, sand, lots of plants, and lights that are on 12 hours a day. I don't get algae buildup, or very rarely. I don't have sick fish, or very rarely. My fish are healthy. They're happy. I feed them once or twice a week, and they find food. In point of fact, for nearly all small fish, a well-balanced aquarium creates food for the fish. It is genuinely self-sustaining. You can virtually put a lid on it, walk away from it, and come back in a year, and everything would be just fine. Now, that's not going to work if it doesn't have what it requires to be able to be self-sustaining. If you load your tank with gravel and put a filter in that pulls every single speck of waste out, your tank will not be able to sustain itself. In point of fact, it will become foul and require continuous purging, deep cleaning. My tanks are never deep cleaned. To do so would be to destroy them. If you really want to keep fish healthy and well, breeding and happy, get back to basics. Put dirt in your tank, soil, cap it with sand, fill it with hard water without disturbing the substrate. Plant some plants, add some fish, put a light on it. If you want, you can put a sponge filter in that'll bubble the water for a while, move it around a bit, and create an additional source of biological filtration. Feed once a week or so and enjoy. Enjoy observing these animals as they go about their daily lives, living the same natural existence in your aquarium that they have in the wild. Do you need all the fancy technology? Only if you're trying to play God, trying to do everything that nature is able to do perfectly, naturally. I know there are a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of shops out there who poo-poo what I'm saying and reject it out of hand. Well, so be it. If you want to spend hundreds of dollars a month to keep your fish going, you're perfectly welcome to. Eventually you'll kill them off because you can't do what nature is able to do to perfection. If, on the other hand, you want to have aquariums that are lovely, that are natural, that are self-sustaining, do as I suggest. Try it once. You'll never go back. This is Father Fish, welcoming your comments. Please be sure to register, hit the like button, and share this with your fishy friends. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your aquarium. Bye for now.